Hi ladies, I'm Tracy Lynn Dougherty. I am passionate about equipping and encouraging women to live the life that God has called them to live. Today I'm going to talk about the storms of life. I'm going to read to you Matthew chapter 14, 22 through 33. It's kind of long, so hang in there with me. Immediately Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side. When evening came, the boat was already a considerable distance from the land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. During the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went out to them, walking on the water. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I, don't be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?" And when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." Let's look back at verse 14. Jesus made the disciples get into the boat. The Message version says Jesus insisted that the disciples get into the boat. God knows already the storms, all the storms of your life, past, present, and future. Sometimes he will direct you away from a storm or around a storm. Sometimes he'll send you into the storm. Verse 26, "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. Peter knew Jesus, and yet he still didn't recognize him. Fear can keep us from recognizing Jesus. You know that saying, blinded by fear? Well, Jesus came so that the blind could see. So when we're paralyzed with fear, we need to look for God in our midst. He's right there, no matter what your storm is. Trust that God is always there, even if you don't see him, recognize him. Let's look at the second half of that passage, verse 28. Peter answered him, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water," he said. "Come." So Peter got out of the boat, started walking on the water, and came toward Jesus. You know why Jesus told only Peter to come? Because Peter is the only one that asked to walk on the water. We want to watch other people get out of the boat, see how it works out, then we're willing to walk on the water. When Jesus called Peter out of the boat, Peter didn't start thinking, "How do I make it happen that I can walk on water?" He focused on what Jesus can do, not on what he can do. He chose to just place his trust, his life, in Jesus' hand. Verse 30, "But when he noticed the strong wind, he became frightened and began to sink. He cried out, 'Lord, save me.' Jesus immediately reached out his hand and caught him." I picture Peter, still a little afraid, looking Jesus straight in the eye and stepping over the side of the boat onto the water. He wasn't focused on the fear or controlled by the fear. He was focused on Jesus. He begins to walk on the water, then he becomes distracted again by the storm and takes his eyes off of Jesus and is overwhelmed by fear. You can't wait for fear to go away to do what Jesus is calling you to do. Do it scared. Verse 30, "Lord, save me." Jesus immediately reached out his hand and caught him. Jesus' response was immediate. Have you cried out to Jesus in your storm? If you cry out, Jesus is right there, ready to catch you too. We want Jesus to hurry up and calm the storms of our life. Maybe he wants to hold your hand, have contact with you, carry you through the storms of life. Verse 33, "Then those who were in the boat worshipped him and sang, 'Truly, you are the Son of God.'" If Jesus hadn't insisted that the disciples get in the boat, go into the storm, they would have missed out on seeing God revealed in their midst. In verse 31, Jesus says to Peter, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" Storms many times reveal where we are spiritually with our faith. But don't be discouraged. If you sometimes feel like, "Tracy, why did you doubt?" Peter went on to do great things, big things, bold things for the kingdom of God. Don't be discouraged. Don't give up. Christ will never forsake you in your storms. Remember, Jesus came to them while they were in the storm. Peter was the only one in the storm that called out to Jesus for instructions. Are you asking God for instructions? Are you reaching out to hold his hand? The thing is, God is more committed to developing our character than to our comfort. Are you in the middle of a storm right now? I would love to hear from you. In the comments below, what are you learning about yourself? What is God showing you about Him? If you would like to receive more free videos like this one, go to equipandencouragewomen.com/subscribe. If you subscribe, it's free. You'll also receive our 16-minute video, Living Your Priorities. Thank you for sharing your time with me. All my best to you.